The time by Sagicor is
7 p.m.
CVM News at 7 headlines Thursday, brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, hold them accountable. Government watchdog blames lawmakers for UWI hospital procurement problems. A mother's pain. A CVM exclusive with the mother of Victoria Brown Hanley, who died on hall at Mona. Close call. 3 children rescued as fire guts Negril hardware. Later inquiry this, blindsided. Can your spouse divorce you without your consent? In the business report, a legendary move for Wisynco Group Limited. While in sports, West Indies under-19 beat Tanzania by 5 wickets in World Cup opener.
CVM News at 7 headlines Thursday, brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy.
Should critical illness strike, don't let worry fill your head. Say hello to happiness and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan. Secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness ahead of time, while benefiting from our investment portfolio and so much more. Give yourself and your family the peace of mind you deserve with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan today. And live secure, live easy.
Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7. It's Thursday, January 15, 2026. I'm Nika Lewis. Thank you for joining us. Parliamentarians should be held responsible. That cry from the Jamaica accountability meter portal JAMP following the damning Auditor General's report, which uncovered serious failures in governance, procurement and contract management at the University Hospital of the West Indies. The organization says had parliamentarians exercised proper oversight, the mismanagement at UHWI would have been uncovered long before it spiraled out of control. As you'll hear in this report, JAMP is also taking the government to task over what it describes as long-standing unkept promises.
The latest Auditor General's findings have sent shockwaves through the health sector. While the spotlight is on the University Hospital of the West Indies, UWI, lawmakers are also now in the hot seat. Executive Director of the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal JAMP, Jeanette Calder, says this is yet another case where weak parliamentary oversight allowed public funds to be misused. She was speaking on CVM's lead story on Wednesday.
Now, you will notice, Jody, that financial statements and financial reports, when the Auditor General receives them and checks them and is satisfied that it is mistake-free, where do they go? Back to our parliamentarians, to the Parliament. So do you see it coming back full circle? They decide where the money is going. They decide the laws as to how we will get value for money, what are the guardrails we have to put in place. They are the ones that create the institutions, and then they are the ones that get the reports. Therefore, it means that throughout the entire process, who are we depending on? Our parliamentarians.
It's why she insists tracking parliamentarians' attendance to Parliament must be taken seriously.
The Prime Minister is saying that he's going to put measures in place that will actually improve attendance
to Parliament
and performance
in Parliament.
In Parliament. Can you see, therefore, then, if our MPs were showing up and if they were reviewing these reports, because this didn't happen yesterday, as you can see, we're talking about 6 years, then it means that chances are we would have caught these even earlier.
Ms. Calder argues that mismanagement of this scale directly undermines the quality of patient care.
We have all of these horror stories, and if this is about access to resources and value for money and extracting the most that we can out of our tax dollars, if the Auditor General has highlighted a lot of revenue losses here, for example, with the abuse of the
tax-exempt status.
Well, it is telling us that what? More beds could be bought, more medication could be bought, more assets that we need, more surgical drills.
In the meantime, Ms. Calder is taking the government to task over what she describes as long-standing unkept promises. She points to a series of commitments that remain unmet, including an accountability framework promised in 2023 and constitutional reform pledged as far back as 2015. Ms. Calder says the repeated delays raise serious questions about the government's commitment to accountability.
So the first thing the Prime Minister promised, and he said it would be done immediately, would be the job description for MPs. And in all honesty, 2 months after that, we had a draft, so commendations. But for 2 years after that, the process
stalled.
Exactly, stalled. And what did JAMP do as representative of citizens that are concerned about accountability is that we simply did what we're doing now. We came to speak to the media, you amplified our voice, and we reminded the Prime Minister that an election was coming, and since we're hiring staff, technically speaking, we needed to have those job descriptions so that we could be properly informed about the people knocking on our gate and what they were going to be asked to do. And what did the government do? They reinstituted the committee in order to have the job descriptions passed in time for the election. So what I'm actually saying is we do have a Parliament, Jody, that will listen if citizens persist. And persisted we did, and persist we have to do now.
Amoy Harriet for CVM News.
A move by the United States to pause processing for certain immigrant visas is prompting renewed discussion about migration and economic opportunity in Jamaica. While economists say the short-term effects may be muted, concerns remain about how a prolonged freeze could shape labor movement, remittances, and long-term development. Kevin Black reports.
United States' decision to suspend immigrant visa processing for nationals of dozens of countries has sparked debate both locally and internationally. Development economist Dr. Nelson Stokes says while the short-term impact on Jamaica may be limited, the long-term implications could be significant.
This is not a sustainable policy by the United States because folks from this country are the vast underbelly that drives the U.S. economy and the services sector, so I don't see it as sustainable. However, if it were, then there'll be less opportunity to go to the United States and live.
Dr. Stokes also says while the freeze may slow permanent migration, it could present an opportunity for Jamaica to better retain its human capital if the country creates the right conditions.
The way I look at that is as a challenge for Jamaica to double down on Vision 2030, to create a Jamaica where this is where I want to stay and want to raise my family and want to live and do business. And I think that's a stark choice before us. We ought not to be upset because somebody no longer wants you in their country as a resident.
But economist Janil Makiwan cautions that the immediate economic fallout is likely to be limited, pointing out that the largest share of remittances comes from temporary worker programs, which remain untouched.
The impact in the short term is fairly minimal. We know that remittance in support, it makes up roughly around 20% of our GDP, and a large share of that come from temporary workers, especially those in like the H2A or H2B programs. So those programs are untouched.
Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
A CVM News follow-up now of the unfiltered emotions and a desperate call for clarity and thoroughness surrounding the death of a 20-year-old on dorm at the Mona campus last year. She has been laid to rest. The police told our newsroom they are making progress on the matter, but the family continues to pray that the integrity of the country's justice system will bring some respite, and very soon. Carolyn Brown has the mother's first and exclusive interview.
This is the ever-smiling Pauline Brown Hanley those familiar with the educator of 31 years, now a vice principal, are accustomed to. But the mother of 5 daughters, 3 biological and 2 she has fostered, has been but a shadow of herself since the mysterious death of her last born, Victoria Ashley Antonia Petrone Saxton Brown Hanley, Vicky for short. Now all those names mean strength, something her mother wishes she had right now.
Right now, at ground zero. I am at a loss. I am empty, broken, and devastated. It has really taken a toll on me and my focus and my concentration, especially because this is not usually me. Usually a go-getter, able to do things and get things done quickly. I had to stop. I had to stop thinking for myself. I had to just stop and allow God to do what He does best. And then He would have reminded me in John 14, verse 14, that I should ask Him whatever I desire, and He would give it to me. So I've been asking Him for answers.
What's your desire right now?
Her desire is to know the truth, to get the answer, to see that the efficacy and the integrity of the entire process, investigation process, is done. And that in all areas where persons would say that this is a mystery, that we know that there are no mysteries in the lands of God. At the end of the day, Vicky will get justice for God and Victoria, because this is painful. This is my baby. This is my baby. She was supposed to be graduating from school. It's her final year. How do I come to understand this? Total darkness. There's just nothing to tell you. Nothing that we can say is concrete at this time, apart from the fact that she was asphyxiated in her room. She was where she was supposed to be. She was nowhere else. She was where she was supposed to be. She was where she was supposed to be.
Somebody else come, please. Such is a grief inside the home of the mother of Victoria at this time. The entire family is taking it as hard as it was on the day that they learned of the incident. And when the news broke initially, it came saying it was a case of suspected suicide. The answers they're asking for, they seem unable to be getting. Carolyn Brown, CVM News.
More CVM News at 7 in just a moment.
You know, some days are harder than others. But we have to do our part. You like porridge? We're in this together.
Morning, nurse. Thank you for what you do every day.
Come in, nurse. Or born of fear.
In this together.
Tune in to Lead Story, weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry. Brought to you by VC's Electrical Sales. Quality products at affordable prices.
This season is the time. Digital is gifting smile. Gift a smile. Gift a smile. Gift a smile. Digicel is gifting smiles this season. 64 lucky customers will win $250,000 cash, and the third two getting $50,000 in groceries. You can also win Samsung tablets, furniture vouchers, and so much more. Best part, you can keep your prize, or you give all our partners to someone who really needs a smile. This season isn't just about winning, it's about making sure everybody good. Cash Digital in your community, bringing gifts and good cheer to keep you smiling into the new year.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Still in the local segment, 3 children were among those who narrowly escaped injury during a massive fire Wednesday night at a hardware store in Westmoreland. The blaze of unknown origin tore through a large section of Burcombe Hardware on Beach Road in Negril, leaving the business reeling from losses estimated at up to $50 million. Details in this report.
Frightened onlookers outside the Burcombe maintenance centers and the supplies Wednesday night as a section of the building was engulfed in flames. It's unclear what started the fire. Reports are that residents along Beach Road in Negril, Westmoreland, saw the fire and summoned the fire department sometime after 6 o'clock. Assistant Commissioner of the Fire Brigade, Rudolph Seaton, is in charge of Area 4.
One unit from the Negril Fire Station responded. Subsequently, 2 units from the Southern Lamar Fire Station and 1 from Lucid Fire Station responded. So we had a 30 fire personnel on the ground. Upon arrival, we saw a building fully engulfed in flames.
CVM News understands that 3 children belonging to the business owners and employees of the hardware were reportedly inside the building when the fire first broke out.
Based on where the origin of the fire was, they were not able to get out at the time. So the father of the children said he had to kick a door open to rescue the children, and they were rescued unharmed. However, one of the children became hysterical and had to be taken to the hospital. But checks have been done with the parents, and they have subsequently reported that the children, they are in good health and they are doing well.
The entire front section of the hardware was destroyed, but Mr. Seaton says the firefighters were able to extinguish the blaze before it caused the major damage to the rear section of the building that stores lumbers.
Well, investigation is ongoing. We presently have 3 fire investigators on the scene trying to ascertain what caused the blaze. So I cannot tell you, but investigation is ongoing.
CVM News understands that losses are estimated to range up to $50 million. Kevin Black for CVM News.
The ultimate state of human existence is interdependence. A quote by Stephen Coverley, used by opposition spokesman on education Damian Crawford to open a presentation under the theme Education Under Pressure, Hurricane Melissa, System Resilience and Readiness for External Examinations. He also highlighted recovery timelines for affected areas, policy accountability within the education sector, and how resilience is achieved through unity of purpose. Crystal Williams reports.
Member of Parliament for Northwest St. Catherine and opposition spokesperson on education Damian Crawford referenced recent reports by the government that all 1,010 schools are ready to reopen and the government's plans to have them back to normalcy within 1 month, while also providing access to other temporary accommodations such as tent cities in the interim. However, MP Crawford observes the timeline from another perspective.
My own opinion was that we should have gone to 10 cities a long time ago for relieving some of these entities that we want as schools and other activities such as that. I am concerned about the integration of adults and students within the space because some schools are open while still acting as a shelter.
He was specifically asked about the Petersfield shelters in the West, as those schools are still being affected. He says that adequate and immediate transition policies for accommodations must be in place, especially for school shelters before disaster strikes again.
Yes, we'll use the school for shelter. However, we must have a transition situation that they move away from the schools into other spaces that are less conducive for the emergency of the hurricane, but conducive for hosting and sheltering persons after the emergency of the hurricane. That could be centers, that could be churches, that could be, as I said, 10 cities, but it is impossible for the schools to suffer further than the damage created by nature, meaning that they are incapable to open because government policy was inefficient and ineffective.
According to the opposition spokesman's research, missing 10% or 20 days of learning within the school year results in chronic absenteeism, while missing 20% or 40 days will result in performance resembling that of those who never attend school. Melissa was 80 days ago.
Even if we hold them accountable, if it is that the students are still losing learning opportunities, they would have already lost those learning opportunities.
However, Acting Chief Education Officer in the Ministry of Education, Terry-Ann Thomas Gale, says otherwise.
I want to reassure the public that condensing to a smaller number of objectives, the students will not be at a loss.
While acknowledging the current efforts being made for school restoration and education recovery, he says the government still needs to be held accountable.
I heard the Prime Minister say that tents don't look good. I don't think looks is sufficient as a negator. I hear even the ministry speak to other modalities. Those cannot work. For example, TV can't work if none of Westmoreland have electricity. So how is TV going to work? Or computer or other distance learning? It just cannot work. Melissa wasn't a surprise. 2 months down, we're just thinking of that. I think that the ministry is just trying to say enough that we think they're doing something, building a narrative more than building a nation. If they don't get the learning recovery process, we'll have a problem on our hands.
Crystal Williams, CVM News.
Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon has announced a new youth-focused recovery program, Building Resilience and Inspiring Development Through Guided Experience Bridge Program. The initiative is designed to support reconstruction efforts in communities hardest hit by Hurricane Melissa, while strengthening inclusion for persons with disabilities. The announcement was made during the official handover of newly renovated facilities at the Jamaica Society for the Blind on Thursday. Carla Ramdeen reports.
Under the Bridge program, 200 unemployed young people between the ages of 18 and 25 from St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, St. James and Hanover will receive hands-on training in construction-related skills while working on active recovery sites.
Trainees will receive hands-on instruction in roof repairs, steel fixing and masonry with support from part-certified instructors and visiting technical expertise through partnerships with those countries who are coming in.
Dr. Morris-Dixon says while participating in the program, trainees will receive a stipend of $65,000 per month. She's also calling for special attention to be paid to the community of persons with disabilities.
I would like the trust to take or to give special attention, if possible, as much as possible, to members of the disabled community. We need to be able to get them to participate in programs like this. And so I want to thank HEART again for the bridge program. All of us have to play our part in rebuilding the West.
Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
It's a new year, and while some may be finding love, for others, unresolved issues are leading to separation and even divorce. But what happens when only one spouse wants out of the marriage? In this week's episode of Query This, Akeem Aret explores whether a divorce can proceed without the consent of both parties. Here now is Query This.
What happens if one spouse wants a divorce but the other does not? In Jamaica, the basis on which you can get a divorce is that your marriage has to be broken down irretrievably. Attorney Debbie Hutchinson explains how.
When your spouse is served with the petition, if it is that they don't agree that the marriage has broken down irretrievably, they can file an answer and state the reasons why they believe that the marriage has not broken down irretrievably. And then the judge will have a discretion based on the circumstances to either order the parties to go to counseling or perhaps mediation.
So, can your spouse file for divorce without your consent? According to the law and Attorney Hutchinson, your consent is not required, but a divorce petition has to be filed. And as it relates to your rights of marital property and assets, that's where Attorney Hutchinson says you must focus your attention if you don't want the divorce.
You should seek to protect your assets. Make sure that the children's, if there are children involved, best interest is actually considered. So you have up until a year after the petition is finalized for you to make an application for your assets to be divided. Now, ideally, you want to have a discussion with your spouse and decide how best to divide the assets. But if that can't happen, you have up until a year to make that application for your assets to be divided.
While contesting the divorce, there may be strategic risks and consequences you may encounter.
If you're contesting the divorce purely because you're still in love, the risk is that you are going to incur additional legal fees to contest it, and you're prolonging the matter, basically. If you are contesting because you want to have sole custody of the children, that is something that you will have to make a decision about, because depending on the nature of the marriage, perhaps it was an abusive relationship and you want to have sole custody. So if you have children, it is important to think about the long-term benefits of the children, and the court would always put the interests of the children foremost. That is front and center at all times. What is in the best interest of the children?
And for those of you who are currently facing this difficult situation, Attorney Hutchinson offers this advice.
When you're getting married, it is an institution that is meant to be till death us do part. That's really what it is. And I'm not saying that you have to stay in a marriage that is unhappy. What I'm saying is that before you get married, make sure you think long and hard about the person you're getting married to. How do you really feel about the person? Is this a relationship you want to be in permanently? Because that's really what marriage is. Make sure that your interests are aligned before you take that step.
In matters of divorce, the law may allow one spouse to move forward, but knowing your rights can make all the difference. That's all the time we have for Query This tonight. Remember, if you have a legal concern or dilemma you would like to query, send an email to aorit@cvmtv.com. I am Akeem Aret. See you next week on Query This.
A 19-year-old man from Roehampton, St. James, has died following an incident at a bridge in the parish on Tuesday. He has been identified as Travis Powell, who reportedly left home earlier in the day after telling relatives he was traveling to Montego Bay. After 9 p.m., Powell shared his location with family members in the Sine Irwin area near a newly constructed bridge. Upon the family members' arrival, he was found unresponsive along the riverbank and was taken to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. It is suspected he died by suicide. We take a break, but there's more to come. Stay with us.
Value menu as you're thinking chicken. Get the chicken box combo for just $680. KFC.
The time by KFC is
no frills, just great prices at Courts. We don't just talk about it, we got it. Get the best in quality and prices on appliances, electronics, furniture, and much more. That's not all. Get up to 40% off select items. Shop today, pay later with Courts Ready Finance. It's no frills, just great prices. Only at Courts. Bringing value home. Conditions apply. Offers end January 31st, 2026.
Chicken, mega deal, super chicken, mega deal. The KFC value menu. As you're thinking chicken, get the chicken box combo for just $680. KFC.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's a live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah. Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Thanks so much for staying with us. It's now time for the Business Report with Joel Crosskill.
Lots to share with you in the Business Report today. On the plains of Lake Spen, St. Catherine, cheers for a legendary move poured out over the latest launchpad of growth for the Wisynco Group Limited, as the seal was pulled on its US $35 million brewery and manufacturing facility, mere months after celebrating its Diamond Jubilee. CEO of Wisynco Group Limited, Andrew Mafood, and Chairman William Mafood spoke to the strategy behind the move.
The scale of this investment is significant. With over 300,000 square feet of additional manufacturing space, this facility strengthens our production capacity. It improves efficiency, and it positions us to respond more quickly to consumer demand both now and into the future. And what a bright future we have ahead of us.
It significantly expands our capacity, strengthens our ability to meet growing market demand, and gives us the flexibility to diversify our product portfolio in meaningful ways. Additionally, and most importantly, it positions Wisynco within the brewed categories, beer, stouts, and malt, ready-to-drink Worthy Park mixed rum-based beverages, and in the ginger wine category via our associate Select Brands and their ownership of the Stones brand, which is now made here at Lake Spen for export and local consumption.
In 2025, the Wisynco Group manufactured approximately 40 million cases combined, now with the ability to create new form factors. A similar figure this year may mean significantly more products are on the move.
Flexibility is a key feature of the facility. The facility supports multiple formats, bottles, and cans, allowing us to tailor output to customer and market requirements both locally and for the export market. I mean, in the hotel industry, cans that they can put in minibars, juices, beer, we can do them right here, and we're going to do them. As an example, a 40-foot container of bigger in plastic, which we now export to the UK, holds approximately 1,500 cases. That same container will hold almost 3,000 cases of bigger cans, allowing for greater absorption of freight and a more competitively priced product in the overseas market with longer shelf life.
The Wisynco Group Limited CEO also took stock of Jamaica's own potentials in the beer category.
Jamaica is known to have very low consumption of beer per capita at approximately 20 liters per annum. And for reference, Latin America is 70 liters, Trinidad is about 40 liters, USA and Canada at approximately 65 to 70 liters. So therefore, this suggests that the brewed market in Jamaica has the potential to double or triple in size over the years to come. And Wisynco will be a part of growing the present market size and participate in the upside to come.
Innovation, longevity, and resilience are familiar qualities of the Wisynco family, who, in addition to stunning successes, have also suffered from several misfortunes, some of which were recounted by Wisynco's chairman.
2 months after we met, in May of 2016, the warehouse that you walked through with Andrew and myself a little while ago, it burned to the ground. It was a huge crisis for Wisynco. And it was a time where, people thought this could be the end of a company, or our suppliers were thinking, would we be able to get back up and running? Our customers were worried about us. In June, the following month, we didn't meet our targets, but by July we did. And it was a testament to the work of the management and the leadership of Wisynco. And I say, even now, I still have goosebumps thinking about it. That single crisis was one of the biggest and most important crises that ever happened to us as a company. But if you think about 2016 until now, we have had a number of crises in Jamaica as well. Our confidence in Jamaica and our future culminated over the past 2 years with almost $10 billion of investment, including this new brewery, which we'll see shortly, is why we are here today.
It's a sentiment that resonated with keynote speaker Dr. Andrew Holness, who encouraged other entrepreneurs to be inspired by what's being witnessed at Wisynco.
Now is the time to be thinking on big projects, not small, timid projects, but large-scale projects that will move the needle. So, William, Andrew, the next time I'm here, you will be showing me a picture or a video of this speech and saying, see, instead of a $70 million total investment, I want to hear about a $1 billion US investment that Wisynco is making to supply Trinidad and Guyana and the United States with products, right? That these brands that you're about to launch with this brewery, that you're going to use the value in brand Jamaica to promote these brands to make them global brands. That's how we want our investor and business class to be thinking. That is how we get real growth.
And that was your business report. I'm Joel Crossgill.
Stay with us for sports with Ronaldo Adams right after the break.
Tune in to Lead Story, weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry.
Brought to you by VC's Electrical Sales. Quality products at affordable prices.
Do you recognize the signs of dengue? Look out for these symptoms: high fever, severe headaches, joint and muscle pain, skin rash, nausea, and pain behind the eye.